Papers, Please is the next game up for the Indie Showcase because you guys demanded it. But before that, I wanted to go a little behind the scenes here. Now, originally, I wanted to do Castle Crashers. It was one of the choices I gave you guys for the straw poll, and there was demand for it, and I wanted to do that as a collaboration with a friend of mine who was getting started on YouTube. I wanted to, give his channel a little love. We ran into a lot of scheduling conflicts, though. For nearly 2 months, it was a really bad string of luck. I don't want to abandon the idea of a collab. I want to do it with him, but because of that, I'm going to hold off Castle Crashers until further notice, and I'm sorry for those that wanted me to look at that game for the showcase. I want to, but I don't want to do it without him. So, unfortunately, that's not going to happen until things work themselves out. The show must go on, and for today we have Papers, Please, a game created by Lucas Pope, a former employee of Naughty Dog. Now, how do you go about pronouncing this game's title? I seem to interchange between Papers, Please and Papers, Please, as if I was employed in the Department of Motor Vehicles. Well, you're not working for the DMV here. You assume the role of an immigration inspector stationed at a border checkpoint in the fictitious land of Arstotzka. I don't know. And it's set in the early 1980s. From hearing that and looking at this right here, you can probably see the Soviet Union overtones, but whether or not this continent was meant to be some sort of parallel or counterpart to the USSR during the Cold War era is primarily up to the player. Whatever the case or intention, it certainly helps define the mood and delivers a tense feeling in the air, despite the game looking like it came straight out of those computer games you 90s kids most likely played in junior high. So what kind of gameplay accompanies this sort of setting, just in case atmosphere is only one part of the equation for you? Okay, well, you're an immigration inspector. I know I said that already, but not only is that the role you play, but that's the gameplay too. Your job is to thoroughly check the documents of everyone who wishes to cross the security checkpoint. When everything looks good to go, you stamp their passport with a decline or approval, you send them on their merry way, and then it's on to the next person. The problem here is that there's an unhealthy number of people who want to make their way across the border illegally. And as you continue through the days, there are discrepancies in their documents you have to watch out for, including, but not limited to, incorrect height and weight, forgeries of all kind like passport numbers not matching, false identities, false countries, lack of proper authentication, terrorist attacks, and following all that, moral dilemmas. Though I'm positive this game takes a shitload of liberties, you are essentially an immigration inspector. You clock in the morning, and after a few in-game hours, your shift comes to an end, and your pay is based on how many people you manage to successfully process during that time. Money is required to keep a roof over your head, and to make sure your family is kept in good health, because dear God, your life will begin crumbling like a charred corpse very fucking quickly the day you bring less than average pay. If you don't supply your family with food, heat, or medicine, they'll eventually die, and if they all go, that's game over. But if you also find yourself in debt, that too will prematurely end your game, and that's so damn easy to do. If you're not quick to thoroughly check all the documents you're given for the sake of getting their asses out faster and getting the next person in line, and therefore getting more money, you're not going to make it past the first few days. But as the days continue, there's more and more procedures added on top of the things you already have to inspect, and goddamn, it's time consuming. You gotta get good at memorizing certain things immediately, like which districts belong in what countries, or things like the correct symbols for work passes and such, so that you can point out irregularities on the spot. Skim on even the tiniest of details and you're handed a citation, complete with a sound that's as dreadful as a civilian dying and zombies ate my neighbors. My morale goes to absolute shit every time I finish up with one person, I send them away, and then... Son of a bitch, that fucking sucks, and that's money I'm not earning. I'm sort of ashamed to say I had to activate the easy mode just to continue on. You're guaranteed $20 at the end of the day, so that going into debt is harder to do, as long as you don't mess up an obnoxious amount of times. So I'm an immigration inspector with a daily allowance from his mom. Hey, times are hard, man. As is this game. I'm tempted to say that Papers, Please isn't a video game. It feels like an honest-to-God job, and on occasion the monotony of the single-screen gameplay is broken when story elements kick in. It could be a terrorist attack, a secret organization wanting your cooperation on a task, or this goofball who keeps trying to cross the checkpoint without proper documentation. When events like these occur, I'm engaged. It's interesting to see how Papers, Please can place you in high-stress situations and take note on how you emotionally respond to that. Like when I was able to detain an asshole that secretly ran a brothel after a distressed woman pleaded for my assistance. That's cool to feel, that's immersive. But I have to do these increasingly mundane duties just to get to that, and that's immersive too, but that's boring. I couldn't go on after about 20-something in-game days of this stuff. It's always you, your workstation, this static screen, and the next person in line. It's what you're doing for most of your stay, and I don't feel this is riveting enough for what's considered a puzzle game. It's $10 on Steam. If you're interested, you know where to find it. Papers, Please isn't my type of game, but it may or may not tickle your fancy. I want to say there's 2 titles left for the Indie Showcase, but it's technically 3. The next time I come back, it's with Hotline Miami. But there's 2 games, so I might as well look at both of them. And don't worry, this is not one of those I'm splitting both games up into 2 separate videos. No, I'm looking at them both for next time, and then to end the marathon, I'm looking at AVGN Adventures. So as always, thank you guys for watching. Have yourselves a fantastic night, and take care. Hey guys, in case you haven't heard yet, I recently made a guest appearance over at the Completionist channel. We dig into Sonic the Hedgehog 2, and I had a lot of fun with that one. So check out his channel when you get the chance and show him some love. He's an awesome guy.